evening, everyone in our studio audience and all the folks watching at home. I'm your host, Brock Benton. Welcome to the National Comedienne Joke-Off. After a grueling year, we are down to 3 finalists, one of which will be the winner of the grand prize, $100,000. This year's contestants are Eleanor Brown, who came from nowhere to make it to the finals in her first year on the circuit. Mercedes Ellington, who has placed in the top 3 in the last 4 years without ever winning. And Fanny Foote, or Granny Fanny, as she has come to be known, who has finally made the top 3 in the season finale after many years on the national circuit. Let's go meet the girls, but first, a word from our sponsors.
I am so nervous. I never expected to be in the green room waiting to go on for the nationals. How can you appear so calm?
You get used to it. The first time I was over the moon. Not quite so much the second time. Over the rainbow, maybe. But by the third time, I felt over the hill. And now I'm just so over it all.
Now, dear, you surely must realize what an honor it is to be in the final 3. Never mind being on the best-paid comedy circuit in the industry. Millions of people have been watching us all year. What a compliment!
Look, Fanny, I only do this for the paycheck at the end. I hate performing, and I've never been able to hack a 9-to-5 job. If I get this decent payday like the $100K, I can set myself up with a little business of my own and get out of this debasing racket.
Debasing? What do you mean debasing? People pay good money for us to make them feel good, to give them an escape from the routines in their lives, to make them happy.
Oh my, you make us sound like hookers.
I agree. My point exactly.
Now, I was just joking, dear. The only hooking I've ever tried involved making a hideously ugly wall hanging. No, I am proud to supplement my income with circuit gigs at my age. I will admit, though, my medicine is very expensive, and as much as I love performing, the benefits suck worse than a clogged vacuum. Ugh, if I won, it'd be enough money so I could retire, knowing I could afford my prescriptions for as long as I needed them.
Oh, I feel kind of shallow. If I went, I would just put the money into my career. I would be able to travel to bigger gigs and get enough publicity to become a household name like Roseanne Barr or Ellen DeGeneres. And after that, the sky's the limit. Being a comic it's all I've ever wanted to do. It's all I've ever wanted to be.
Very touching, but I'm not impressed. And every woman I've seen come through here has had some sob story or other. I really couldn't care less what your problems are. If I don't win this year, I'm going to lose it. You just hit the circuit. You have to pay your dues.
Without putting too fine a point on it, what happened in past years doesn't mean a fig. If the audience has to pick one of us, and nothing says they will factor in any of us have paid dues or not.
Well, maybe we should agree to split the winnings. So no matter who wins, everyone gets 33 grand. That would come in handy, wouldn't it?
Like I would trust either of you two to follow through if I lose. I'm going to win this sucker and let you two fight over the crown next year.
Maybe they're right. Maybe you can estimate someone's trustworthiness by how trusting they are.
Trusting people only gets you hurt.
Never being able to trust anyone hurts all the time, though. The hurt never goes away.
What do you know about being hurt?
No one has a monopoly on pain, Mercedes. Everyone's been hurt.
Try losing your husband after 60 years of marriage.
Please, Fanny, spare me. You even joke about it.
Well, of course I do. We humans have always made jokes about failure and death and what scares and hurts us the most. It's like whistling past the graveyard, making fun of our fears and makes them lose their power against us.
Welcome back to the National Comedienne Joke-Off. We will get started right away with our first contestant, Eleanor Brown.
Thank you for that wonderful applause. My name is Eleanor Brown, and my spirit animal is deluxe pizza. I actually joined a dating site, but instead of meeting new, exciting singles, you hook up with new kinds of pizza. Of course, that's not to say I'm not into fitness. I am. Like fitness giant pizza in my mouth. I love to eat. You could hardly tell, I bet. But being in love with food instead of fools is no guarantee of avoiding heartbreak. For example, I discovered that the Pringles holder on the stationary bike is actually for a water bottle. That was a real heartbreak. Or what about people who say food for thought, but then they don't give you any food? I mean, is that cruel or what? I love fast food a lot. I love it so much when I'm at Subways and they ask me if I want it toasted. I always say yes, and then raise my soda with a "to my sandwich." I have done a lot of eating research. I know, for example, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. That's why I have several. I also had a vegan lunch today. It was a Snickers bar and an orange Slurpee. Of course, I'm on a diet. I've been on a diet since I was old enough to hate myself. In fact, right now I'm so desperate, I'm on 2 diets. I find one just doesn't give me enough food. I'm also trying to lower my carbs, mostly lowering them into my mouth, but I hate to admit it, but if you measure me in serving sizes, I'm a family of 4. My last boyfriend, he tried to help me by locking the fridge at night. Got a lot of exercise trying to break in. Of course, my weight isn't just from poor eating habits. In fact, when I sit around the house on the weekend, I like to wear a red cape because I'm super lazy. Oh, I was in an accident and I was walking in an intersection and was rear-ended by a guy with a motorized shopping cart. It was at the intersection of housewares and linens at Walmart, and the stupid jerk rammed my kneecap. So I'm at the doctor's, and I'm like, "How bad is it, doc?" And he says, "Well, you'll never run again." And I'm all, so basically the same. I mean, I even hired someone to walk my Fitbit. Oh, I did buy an exercise bike a few years ago. I almost racked up a kilometer on it until I lost it under a pile of laundry. Best workout I ever got from that was hauling it to the curb during cleanup week. I decided to get serious about my weight and went back to the doctor about it. He said I was retaining water. He said from the size of me, it might be Lake Superior. So I joined a gym, but it was so confusing. At the check-in counter, there was a sign that said, "Please wear loose clothing." And I'm thinking, if my clothing was loose, I wouldn't be here. Then I got into some kind of exercise class run by this impossibly thin, perky, super positive young woman. You know the type. I hated her instantly. "Everybody form a circle," she said. And I told her I'd already formed a circle. That's why I was there. I got really motivated from watching the last Olympics on TV, though. Those athletes are so inspiring. I decided to try out for the 100-meter dash. Last week, I set a new personal record, 23 meters. I figure if all this exercising doesn't do the job, I'll just get a head-to-toe tattoo of a really skinny person. Or maybe not. There are a lot of good things about carrying a few extra pounds. For one thing, pudgy people don't wrinkle as much. Fat is like Botox for poor people. And speaking of wrinkles, I don't have to iron my t-shirts because the wrinkles come right out when I stretch the t-shirt over my torso. I'm kidding. Like I would ever iron clothes again. Last time I tried, I said, ironing away like mad, and then the phone rang. And I got 3rd-degree burns on my ear. I guess I'm just not the domestic type. The best thing I make for supper is reservations. Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. You were fantastic.
What a great performance! Let's have another round of applause for Eleanor Brown. She sure has a great future on the circuit, whichever way the vote goes. Up next, however, we have a real crowd pleaser you'll just love. But first, we have to pay some bills with these messages from our sponsors.
Great job, Eleanor. What a wonderful act you've developed.
Oh, Granny, you're so sweet.
Oh, God. It really was good.
Thank you?
I'm going to be another Susan Lucci.
Who?
Remember Susan Lucci from that soap All My Children? Nominated for Best Actress in a Daytime Drama like a million times without ever winning? I mean, at least she was filthy rich.
Actually, Miss Lucci won in 1999 with her 18th nomination.
I am not staying in the circuit for 18 years. Kills you like slow poison. We roll out our pain for all to see and hope the mob approves. We live and die by the whims of that mob.
Why, you
Let me just intercede here, Eleanor. Look, Mercedes, we understand that you must be terribly frustrated with not winning for the last 4 years, but how do you think I feel? I've been standing in front of the bricks even longer than you.
You have? I didn't know that.
How I envied you being the final 3 year after year when I would bust my butt for nothing. Enough with the pity party. You haven't even gone on yet. You still have just as much chance of winning as either one of us.
You know what? Making it to the final 3 and then knocking it out of the park tonight is a memory I will always cherish, no matter how it turns out. No, forget the $100 grand. I feel like $1 million right now. Hearing people laugh at something you said is the sweetest sound in the universe.
Well, then you can have the $1 million and I'll take the measly $100 grand.
Was it ever fun for you?
No, not really. People always laughed at my sarcastic comments growing up. And when I was getting hard up, it was either trying stand-up or pole dancing. And, well, I'm a little past pole dancing. I watched a few circuit shows and it didn't look that hard. I wasn't even that surprised with my success. But just because you're good at something, it doesn't mean you like doing it.
Just because you're good at something, it doesn't mean you like doing it. Well, I have to admit, I've used those exact words with my husband, but I'd rather not say what we were discussing.
That was so funny.
Oh, thanks, Fanny. I needed that.
Oh, I do understand what you're saying, though. It must be hell for you to do it for the reasons you do. Can't imagine how hollow the whole experience must be from your standpoint.
Well, maybe Mercedes is onto something, though. Have you ever died out there, Granny? I mean, probably not. You're so good.
Are you kidding? I crashed and burned lots of times, especially at the beginning. Going back on stage after the first time was the hardest thing I ever had to do.
Who cares if they laugh? As long as you get paid either way. We all know sometimes audiences seem more like oil paintings. It's not my fault if they don't like my material.
Yeah. I once did a private gig for the Lions Club or the Elks or the some animal anyway. And these old sorry, Granny, these guys were stiffer than a crowd of cadavers. I swear afterwards, though, they came up and they were so complimentary and said it was all they could do not to laugh at my stories.
Exactly. You can't measure your own self-worth by how much the audience laughed on any given night. That's the road to booze or drugs to make yourself feel better. And trust me, I've seen a lot of girls on the circuit take that path. It ain't pretty.
Oh my gosh, yes, it's just so sad. I've been lucky to have a long stretch of great crowds. Circuit isn't so bad. People know exactly what they're coming for and laugh just to make sure that they feel they're getting their money's worth.
Oh, and the 2-drink minimum helps.
Oh, yeah. Drunk crowds are great. Well, but not if they get too drunk. I mean, one time.
Thanks for tuning in once again to the National Comedienne Joke-Off. Up next, we have a true legend on the circuit. She's loved by audiences and fellow comics alike. Please welcome Granny Fanny Foot.
Hello, everyone. My name is Fanny Foot. I realize that's two body parts, sort of like a bum hip, but you can just call me Granny. I had such a time getting here. I was driving in from out of town, and I took a shortcut down a dirt road, and well, it all of a sudden got really foggy. And there was suddenly a tree right in front of me, and I cranked the wheel to the left, and then there was another tree. So I cranked the wheel to my right, and then another tree. And then I realized it was just my air freshener. I know, it's kind of an old joke I just happened to borrow. Actually, some people say I'm a plagiarist. That's their words, not mine. So just a little about myself. I'm a widow, married over 60 years. Not that we were all that devoted to each other, but we were both terribly forgetful, and neither of us could remember to call a lawyer. We got married way too early, too. I wish now I had stayed in school instead. By now, I would be in grade 71. It seemed the longer we were married, the slower Walter would drive. Eventually, even cyclists would pass us. Bugs would crash into the back of the windshield. They would be like, "Wow! Splat!" I remember when we went to the doctor together just before he passed on. The doctor said, "You know, Mr. Foot, although you're not in terrible shape, you're getting older now, and you may want to make peace with that man upstairs." "Oh, me and the big guy are already on great terms," he said. "When I get up to pee at night, he turns on the light for me, and when I'm done, he shuts the light off again." And the doctor asked me about it, and I just told him, "Oh, that old fool. He's been peeing in the fridge again." Sorry, I stopped to think. I forgot to start again. Oh, yes, I was telling you about Walter. He had a terrible addiction to the hokey pokey, but he turned himself around. Walter also had an irrational fear of speed bumps, but he was slowly getting over it. Poor Walter was so gullible. He once sent a donation to the Salvation Navy. I remember when Walter would complain because we weren't having enough sex to his liking. He said he was thinking of hiring a hooker he saw advertised in the classifieds, $150 an hour. I told him I hoped she was good at fractions. I like winter. Walter hated it. When it was snowing like crazy, oh, it was just made me so sad, and it would break my heart. I'd see his little face pressed up against that window, looking so sad. I'd feel so bad for him, I'd almost let him back in before the driveway was shoveled. I remember being pregnant with little Oscar. Walter went to the prenatal classes so he could coach me. Like you could coach a woman in labor. I can tell you professional athletes sure as heck don't scream at their coaches that way. At least he knew where he could stick those ice chips. Pregnancy made me crazy for chicken. Couldn't get enough of it. I ate so much, I almost named little Oscar Brock. Sorry, Brock, couldn't resist. One good thing about Walter, I had him trained like Pavlov's dog. Whenever I kick him, he'd stop snoring. I once told Walter I believed his doubting my beliefs caused my chronic pain to flare up. He said chronic pain doesn't actually work that way. And I'd be like, ow, ow, stop it. After I lost Walter, I decided to join a dating site because my voice of reason blocked me years ago. I wasn't getting any hits on my profile, so I showed it to my girlfriend, and she said I shouldn't include a picture. Or, if I'm gonna post a picture, maybe I should put some clothes on. Oh, I thought the boys would like that if I showed a new wrinkle every now and again. Of course, my grandkids hate it when I would share my profile on their Facebook. By the way, speaking of grandkids, if you want to experience what it's like to owe a loan shark, borrow $1 from an 8-year-old. Yes, lack of money is just one of my problems. I'm not sure how many problems I actually have, though, because poor math skills is one of my problems. Anyway, that's my time, folks. You have been so lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you.
That was a real treat from our granny, wasn't it? Let's give her another big hand.
Seriously, Fanny, the air freshener bit? Do you know how old that is?
Sounds like it was new to them. What a great crowd.
Oh, I thought so too. You're so lucky going last, Mercedes. We've worn them all up for you.
Yeah, right. I bet they're all trying to decide between you two and won't even listen to me. I wish I would have gone first. I might have had a chance.
Really, Mercedes? I don't think you'll wow anyone with a defeatist attitude like that. I want to win the dough as much as anybody, but from my perspective, I have a way better chance if you think you've already lost. Maybe actually care about the audience for once. Don't just recite jokes. Engage with them. Does make a difference.
Why the pep talk? If I win, you will still be struggling to buy your medications. Why do you care?
Because I will always love the feeling of the laughs and the applause. If I have to do circuit gigs till I die, so be it. Did you ever see Phyllis Diller retire? How about Joan Rivers?
Those old hags look pathetic towards the end.
Their fans didn't think so. The love of loyal fans is what kept them going.
Those of us on the circuit not addicted to alcohol or drugs, we're addicted to the crowd busting a gut. I'd do it for nothing. I manage with my meds one way or another. I just want you to connect with the crowd and see the difference it makes in your own psyche than just blabbling funny things to say. It might even knock them dead.
It might make it more fun for you, if nothing else. Don't ever underestimate the power of fun. I want to win this thing more than I've ever wanted anything. But I also know that if I don't get it this year, I'll probably have another chance next season. I genuinely wish you luck, Mercedes.
You know, the other girls all those other years weren't like you two. I have a lot to think about.
Well, you better think about it pretty darn quickly. I'm sure the ads are just about done.
Welcome back once again to the National Comedienne Joke-Off. My name is Brock Benton, and we now present our final performer. She's been a popular addition to the circuit for over a decade, with her unique, hilarious comedic stylings. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mercedes Ellington.
Hi, everyone. How are you doing? I'm great. You know how I know I'm great? Everywhere I go, people say, oh, great. So it must be true. Are we having any fun yet? Yeah! The first two ladies were amazing, weren't they? I'm Mercedes Ellington, and I think the world is moving way too fast for me. How many of you agree? Well, one proof? Consider this. Future Shop is now in the past. I mean, what the puff? They had such amazing products, too. I heard they even sold a microwave fireplace. you could have a nice, relaxing evening in front of the fire in only 12 minutes. Future Stop had a microwave oven so powerful and could cook so fast. If you put instant coffee in it, you would actually travel back in time. So I'm glad to be here safely. I had to take a discount airline. I know it was a no-frills flight because when the flight attendant was doing her safety routine, she said, in the event of lack of oxygen from sudden depressurization, simply reach up and do this. I mean, it kind of reminded me of my old Chevette, which had a manual airbag. Yeah, manual. It was just a little tube hanging down you could hyperventilate into to inflate it if you're about to crash. Like, I'll share a bit about my background. First of all, I was born into sorry circumstances. Both my parents were sorry the moment they saw me. I never had a stepdad, but I had a stepladder. That's a ladder you get when your first ladder goes out for cigarettes and doesn't come back and your mom has to find a new ladder. Growing up in my situation was tough, but then I had a life-changing experience. Sadly, I had another one and changed back. I managed to find coping strategies, though. My favorite aromatherapy scent, for example, is Model Airplane Glue. It's way safer than sniffing that hot mouth glue, for sure. I mean, that's the road to ruin and, well, really super clogged nostrils. Yeah, I don't just flirt with disaster. I invite it back to my place for drinks. Actually, the doctor says I drink more than my weight would allow, so now I'm on a new diet to gain a few more pounds. Pretty smart, eh? Well, you'd think gaining weight would be pretty simple. Just hang around pot smokers. They always have food on them. Always. But unfortunately with stoners, you can never be too sure how long a cheeseburger has been in someone's pocket. I saw two stoners walking along the railroad tracks. One of them said, "Man, this is one long staircase." And the other one said, "Yeah, but the low handrails is killing me." Drugs are so bad for you. I mean, I never, ever, hardly ever do them. Well, except wine. My body is a temple, and I have a rule. No cheap wine in the temple. I describe myself as an oenologist because the term wine connoisseur just isn't pretentious enough. This Merlot offers whisk of oak and honey and a hint of flatulence. Wine tasting is so absurd. I mean, even soda has its absurdities. If our nation is so divided by the Pepsi versus Coke debate, but they're not even allowed in the same restaurant, how can countries hope to get along? And politicians don't help. I mean, when was the last time you said, "Thank God that guy was elected"? Have you ever? Politics, as they say, is show business for ugly people. The word politics comes from Latin, the prefix poly meaning many, and ticks are, well, of course, blood-sucking parasites. And speaking of criminal organizations, I just read organized crime now has a banking app on iTunes. It's called Pay Up Pal. It's so convenient having the guys who have to bust your kneecaps come right to your door. I love shopping from home. Anybody else? I am so addicted to it. I DVR infomercials. All those incredible bargains are bankrupting me. Though I'm a sucker, too. I just bought one of those Hoover steam scrub machines for hard-to-reach places. They claim it's gentle on surfaces, but man, it stings like hell. Although it's not as bad as those Lysol wipes, though. Well, thanks to my shopping addiction, I'm flat broke. I am so broke. I needed laser eye surgery, but I couldn't afford it. So I tried taser eye surgery. Oh, man, it hurt like hell. Now my eye twitches when I get close to electric appliances. Thank you so much for being a great crowd. I love you.
That was fantastic. Let's have another hand for Mercedes Ellington. Okay, we will now have all our contestants come on stage as we call for the vote. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we will now learn, with your help, who will be crowned winner of the national title and received the $100,000 grand prize. To vote for your favorite comedian, write their name in the chat. let's have a final round of applause for each of tonight's performers. Ladies, as I call your name, please step forward. First of all, let's hear it for Eleanor Brown. Write the name Eleanor in the chat to vote for her. Now, Granny Fanny Foot. To vote for her, write Granny Fanny in the chat. And now, Mercedes Ellington. To vote for Mercedes, write her name in chat. You can continue to vote through our next performance. We'll announce the winner at the end of the show. Thank you for being a great audience.
Wasn't that fun? Chapel Street Players is thrilled to continue our 86th season, albeit virtually. I'm Dr. Renee O'Leary, and as a 50-year volunteer in many capacities at Chapel Street, I have grown to love the group with my heart and soul. Chapel Street Players would not be able to provide this virtual season without the generous support of the community and viewers like you. We greatly appreciate any contributions you're able to make to support Chapel Street Players and the arts and keep them alive. Chapel Street is an all-volunteer and nonprofit organization, so any donations are tax-deductible in compliance with state and federal laws. Finally, on behalf of our board, volunteers, and patrons, I thank you for watching and donating. Hopefully that is, we'll see you in the theater in the fall.
Who is it?
It's me, Captain Justice, the defender of truth, the champion of the defenselessness, the...
Yeah. Where the hell have you been?
A bank was being robbed.
I've been waiting an hour.
No need to worry. I quickly corralled the cunning culprits.
Couldn't you leave that to the police? I don't have all afternoon.
The police? Who needs a police when Captain Justice is around? After all, vanquishing villainous vermin is my vocation.
Yeah, you and my husband.
How is what's-his-name these days?
We're not here to talk about him. Did anyone see you come in?
Of course! Everyone saw me come in. I'm hard to miss.
Great.
I am Captain Justice, the defender of truth.
Yeah, I think we covered that already. Okay. Let's just hope they think you're after some bad guys and not here with me.
Committing adultery?
If you're going to be direct and insensitive about it, yes, committing adultery.
You and I are not committing adultery.
Of course we are.
No, you're committing adultery. I'm not married.
Thank you for pointing that out.
No problem.
God, I hope we're doing the right thing.
Of course we're doing the right thing.
How can you be so sure?
Because I always do the right thing. My whole life is devoted to doing the right thing. Nobody does the right thing better than I do the right thing.
I don't know. I keep thinking about what he would do if he found out.
Don't worry. He won't find out.
You forget, he can see through walls.
Well, if you're going to start bringing that up.
Forget I said anything. Why don't we just get on with it?
Just because he can leap tall buildings in a single bound.
I said forget it.
I can still cover just as much ground as he does. I just use my...
I know. Your skills and ingenuity.
Balderdash and poppycock. Who needs skills and ingenuity when you drive the Justice Mobile?
Of course, the Justice Mobile. Silly me.
Did you know that baby can go from 0 to 100 and nothing flat?
Amazing.
Oh, yeah. Kid glove leather interior. Surround sound speakers. Synchro mesh transmission. 3-inch steel-plated armor. And not to mention the ejection seat and missile launchers.
Let's not forget the missile launchers.
Oh, the Justice Mobile. It's a real chick magnet.
Just what every woman loves, a car with an ejection seat.
Oh, I bet Mr. Born on Another Planet would give his right arm for the Justice Mobile.
He seems to do all right without it.
What was it about him that you found so damn attractive anyway? That stupid little curl in the middle of his forehead?
If you must know, he was the most exciting man I'd ever met.
Give me a break. The man's so square he has corners.
You're falling to your doom from a 40-story building and some guy comes flying by, scoops you out of the air, and flies off with you cradled in his massive arms. It's exciting. And it's sexy. Damn sexy.
Well, I could have done that. I could have swooped.
Of course you could have swooped.
I would have had to use cables and grappling hooks and launchers, but I could have swooped.
I wasn't saying you couldn't swoop.
I'm a great swooper.
I'm sure you are. Which side of the bed do you want?
At least I don't become a total wreck when someone waves a piece of rock at me.
We all have our weaknesses.
Sure. Go ahead. Defend him.
I'm not defending him. He's perfectly capable of defending himself. And most of the world, for that matter.
And I'm not. That's what you're saying, isn't it?
That's not what I'm saying. Can we get this show on the road?
Don't change the subject.
I thought that was the subject.
Admit it. You're only here because old Buns of Steel can't get it up.
No, that's not why I'm here. And for your information, he gets it up just fine.
Is that so?
Or at least he used to. I'll never forget the time we joined the Mile High Club.
Mile High Club. Big deal.
It was a big deal. We weren't in a plane. But those days are gone. Now it's all work, work, work. Busting, bruising brigands, terminating ticking time bombs, defeating dastardly doers of devilish deeds.
Sure. Go ahead. Throw it in my face. My husband can fly. My husband is invulnerable. You think it's easy doing what I do without one single superpower to my name? No gills, no magic words, no radioactive insect bites. Knowing that the rotten, ungrateful rabble of this stinking rat-infested hole they call a city will always be comparing me to him.
The people of this city love you. They need you. They want you.
Of course they want Captain Justice. Hell, everyone wants Captain Justice. The mayor wants Captain Justice. The police want Captain Justice. But does anyone want Ernest Hempel?
Who the hell is Ernest Hempel?
I'm Ernest Hempel.
That's your name? Ernest Hempel?
Okay. It's out there. Yes. I'm Ernest Hempel. Certified public accountant.
You're a CPA.
Make that super CPA. I made enough money in real estate to pay off the national debt.
Then why all this Captain Justice stuff? Why not just play golf and live in a big house?
I do! 25 rooms, 3 swimming pools, tennis courts, and my own movie theater.
Oh my God, you own stately Hempel Manor.
You've heard of it?
Yes, I've heard of it. Who hasn't? So why the whole Captain Justice thing?
Would you have checked into a hotel to spend the afternoon with Ernest Hempel? Accountant?
Maybe to get my taxes done.
Ever since I saw your picture in the paper.
You saw my picture?
Standing next to him.
Oh.
Him! Looking up at him, smiling at him, adoring him. All I could think about was, why him? Why not me? Why did you want him? Why didn't you want me?
Maybe because I didn't know you.
It didn't matter. You wanted him and I wanted you to want me.
Are you saying you became Captain Justice for me?
What's the use? No matter what I do, no matter how many sleazy scofflaws I send to solitary, or purloining pirates I pinch, or hate-filled hooligans I harness, you'd always compare me to him.
No, I would never do that.
I'd always play second fiddle.
That's not true. I'm overwhelmed to think you would do all this just for me, for my attention. What woman wouldn't be flattered?
You don't have to patronize me. I can tell. And as far as you're concerned, I just don't measure up.
Oh, I'm sure you measure up just fine.
Do you mean that?
Well, there's only one way to find out. Oh, Captain, my Captain. Well, Ernest Temple, you may not be able to leap tall buildings in a single bound, and you might not be able to see through walls, but there is one thing you and my husband do have in common. You're both faster than a speeding bullet.
Tell me about it.
Fran, darling! Fancy meeting you here at the doctor's office. Ooh, is everything okay?
My arthritis is acting up is all. I think there'll be a change in the weather. I mean, my poor joints always know. They're so accurate, I should rent them out to the Weather Network. But what about you? Are you all right?
Oh, I'm just here about my osteoporosis. Apparently, my bones make peanut brittle seem flexible in comparison. Is it hot in here? Oh my gosh, I am burning up.
It's not the temperature, sweetie. It's not too bad in here. It's probably just a hot flash. Oh my, last night I was having one so bad. I wanted to cover my body with bags of frozen peas. Phil suggested I use Cool Whip instead, of course, but he's a pig.
That sounds like Bill. Also sounds like my Norman. He suggested I should keep cool the same way the car does, with lots of antifreeze.
Antifreeze?
Yeah, alcohol makes a good antifreeze, don't you know? He says a bottle of Merlot would fix me right up. He says that in the winter, too, when I'm chilly. He's just trying to get me tipsy so we can break down my defenses and launch a frontal assault, if you know what I mean. Men really are pigs.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look at that. Here comes Karen.
Pat? Fran! What a surprise to run into you. You are both looking so lovely. What brings you here? Nothing serious, I hope.
Well, apparently I have bones as porous as some of Norman's lame excuses for not cleaning the garage. And Fran here has joints that creak worse than an outhouse door. Nothing too life-threatening. What about you, dear? Are you just here for a checkup?
Oh, actually, I'm glad you asked. I have to talk to the doctor about my fibromyalgia. It's been acting up lately. I ache all the time so badly. You know, I can hardly drag myself down to the bingo hall. Plus, I get a migraine every time Charlie comes near me. Poor guy. Mind you, he only comes near me for one thing. Charlie's such a pig.
I think we can safely assume that they're all pigs. But lucky for us, we have 3 fairly cute ones.
True. And they can be useful sometimes. Without our little piggies, who would kill the mice that come in the house?
If I lived alone and had a mouse in the house, I think I'd have to move out. Fran, Your hair looks fabulous today. What did you do different?
Oh, thanks. Nothing special, really. I just blow dried it. Oh, and I love that blouse, by the way. Where did you get it?
Thanks. I got it online. Paid way too much, but I just fell in love with it. I had to hide it for months from Charlie until the time was right to bring it out. He was miffed until I told him I've had it for ages and even had the receipt to prove it.
I use that strategy all the time. That's how I got my shoes.
Oh, I was going to mention them. They're so stylish.
I love them. They hardly hurt my feet at all. I wouldn't want to wear them all day or anything, but for an hour or so, they're awesome. Looks like I'm being paged.
Wait a minute. I was here before her.
Yeah, but they always run late. So if you show up for your appointment earlier than someone scheduled ahead of you, they still go in the order of appointment. I've been in the medical loop a while now, as you know, so I know what I'm talking about.
I think once you hit 50, the guarantee expires on our bodies and the chassis begins to slowly fall apart. And you can get an extended warranty like Blue Cross. But either way, things are going to start going sideways.
I don't know about you, honey, but gravity sure as hell is not making these go sideways. They're going straight down.
I hear you. I do feel terrible about Pat's osteoporosis, though. They say you get that from drinking too much. I don't think Norman has to twist her arm very hard to get her to drink wine.
Oh, I know. I mean, awful shame, but she did kind of bring it on herself. And oh my gosh, did you see those hideous shoes she was wearing? Oh my God.
I know. I didn't realize the circus was in town because they sure look like clown shoes to me. I think she must get hopped up on her Merlot and go drunk shopping.
Well, I can't really say anything because I did that once too. At Sally's wedding, remember? A bunch of us got into some sambuca and got so snapped. When I got home, I ordered a $350 dress off Amazon. It was my own secret version of spousal assault on Charlie.
Well, at least you're not hitting the sambuca bottle every day.
Are you kidding? I won't go near the stuff ever again. I can't even smell black licorice without it triggering my gag reflex. I don't know how Pat can get blitzed every night as she does. I mean, especially with Norman losing his job like that.
Oh, I know. And I don't buy the whole laid off story. The mill was hiring last week.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they found out about his gambling addiction. Oh, I wasn't supposed to mention that. Okay, swear that you won't tell anyone.
Oh, you know me. I mean, my lips are sealed. You can tell me anything.
Oh, me too. I certainly would never engage in idle gossip.
Oh, me neither.
I mean, not like Pat. She loves to gab. And by gab, I mean blab. By just last week, she told me Carol and Vince were having an affair after swearing to Kelly she wouldn't breathe a word. I was shocked she would spread such a story.
Carol and Vince? I knew it. I'd heard Kelly and Vince had a huge fight at work, I never believed it was over a missing wrench like they said it was later.
I hadn't heard that. Oh, shh, here comes Pat. I wonder how she did. Hey, Pat, how'd it go?
Well, he gave me a needle right in my hot, sweaty butt, and now I have to wait a few minutes to see if I have a reaction. I knew I should have tidied up down there. I am so embarrassed.
I let it grow wild as nature intended. It's not like anyone will see it besides my husband and my doctor, and I doubt either care all that much either way. You're lucky I do my legs and underarms.
I like to keep it trim. For when I dream I'm back at school assembly in high school and I'm reciting a poem buck naked. I want to look my best.
Well, don't worry, Pat. It's not as bad as the time I was doing laundry in the porch and had stripped down to put on clean clothes before going to the doctor's. Bill had slapped my butt,
But little did I know, he'd been painting and left this huge handprint on my butt for the doctor to see. I mean, I was dying of embarrassment, and the doctor was dying of laughter.
That's hilarious. I think they're calling you, Fran.
Oh, so they are. Well, wish me luck.
Be brave, Fran.
I'll wait here feeling uncomfortably warm with this pain in my butt.
I do hope you're talking about your injection site and not me.
No, Karen. You're a breeze compared to Fran. I mean, she can be funny sometimes. And by funny, I don't mean the ha-ha type of funny, but more like the what the puff are you doing funny.
I know what you mean. I mean, Fran can be such a pill sometimes. And did you see her hair? I mean, it looks like she teased it with a salad fork.
Oh, I just about choked on my mental edit button when I saw her. Poor dear. She really lets herself go sometimes. I'm wondering if she has early onset Alzheimer's or something.
I wondered the same too. Out of concern, of course. I mean, I would never judge her appearance, but she has begun to dress so frumpily.
Yes, frumpily. That's the word exactly. I bet she has a terry bathrobe she schleps around the house in. What are you going to say to her, though? She never would take anyone's advice.
Don't I know it? You know, I made a comment about her grandson being a bit slow at learning to go potty, and she wouldn't talk to me for a week. I mean, maybe I shouldn't have used the term special needs, but her hostility was immediate.
Well, she can be so touchy. Gosh, it is hot in here. I am seriously melting. Oh,
don't worry, dear. This too shall pass. Did you talk to the doctor about it? There are some therapies to help fight the symptoms. They may increase your risk of certain cancers, though.
That's like those commercials for these miracle drugs with worse side effects than the thing you want to cure. Why do beer commercials have to spend their advertising time warning about the dangers of alcohol?
Yeah, you know, they should have a warning on tequila bottles. Caution, may cause pregnancy.
Oh, speaking of pregnant, did you hear about young Leanne? She's pregnant again. Her third in 3 years, all with different fathers. In my day, we didn't do such things. When we got pregnant, we made sure they married us or else.
But don't talk about it with Fran. She's so touchy about that, too. She always bragged about Leanne being so intelligent and beautiful growing up. And now she ends up with nothing to show for it but a bunch of brats and a nasty reputation.
Here comes Fran. So, Fran, what are they going to do about your joint pain?
The doctor gave me a stronger painkiller and told me if it doesn't work, he can increase the dosage. Well, he says I can't get addicted if I just take it for the pain, but I don't know. If they make me feel loopy, I'm liable to break my hip.
I heard when you get to be our age, getting a new hip is almost compulsory. I am sorry about your dilemma, though. Bill will have to help out more, obviously.
And remember, we can help too. Just say the word.
Oh, you guys are the best. I just love you too.
I love you too.
Me too. We're like the three musketeerettes.
Well, I am off. Good luck, ladies, and call me later.
Bye. Drive safe.
I hope she does. Have you ever seen her drive? Oh my gosh. She has so many radar tickets. Her rear end has been photographed more often than Kim Kardashian.
You know, I heard she was stopped by the cops for speeding and tried to negotiate her way out of a ticket using her feminine wiles, as if she has any. Oh, look, here comes Alicia.
Hello, Alicia. Long time no see.
Well, hello. How are things? Oh, you aren't here for anything serious, are you?
Oh no, I'm just here for a follow-up, and Pat needs some kind of calcium supplement or something. What are you here for? You're all right?
Oh, yes, I'm just here to go over a couple routine blood tests, nothing to be concerned about.
It's too bad, but you just missed Fran. She was here for her achy arthritic joints, the poor dear.
Yes, I saw her in the parking lot. What happened to her hair?
What do you mean?
Well, it looks kind of, I don't know, unusual.
It looked fine to me. I think it's good to try new styles. I wish I had the nerve to try something wild.
I think it looked fine too.
Sorry, but I noticed she isn't putting as much effort into her appearance as she used to. I'm worried for her.
I try not to be too judgy. Actually, Alicia, Fran has bad arthritis, and it's getting harder for her to primp like she used to. Besides, I don't see you on the cover of Vogue either.
You know, Alicia, I almost bought that same top you're wearing, but I thought it was a bit old for me.
I really like your blouse too, Karen. It really suits you. Giant tiger?
You're kidding, right? I could almost buy out the women's section of Giant Tiger for what I paid for this. No, I bought it from a very exclusive upscale shop that I'm sure you've never heard of.
I know where you bought it. I think Fran shops there too.
Yes, speaking of Fran, I don't care what you say. She's been acting kind of strange lately. Very ill-tempered.
Fran, seriously? She's as sweet as raisin pie.
Look, Alicia, Fran is our friend, and neither of us would ever say a word against her. Understand? We are not the type to gossip about our friends. Oh, I'm being called to the examination room. Bye, Pat.
Well, I don't think I'm reacting to the needle in the butt, so I'm going to go home and sit under the ceiling fan to cool off. Ugh.
Oh, that's too bad. I was just going to tell you about what happened with Karen and Charlie last night.
Oh, really? Well, I guess I can stay for a few minutes. Tell me everything.